As soon as she said it, the Argo II launched a second volley. Its port ballista fired a massive spear wreathed in Greek fire, which sailed straight through the broken dome of the Senate House and exploded inside, lighting up the building like a jack-o'-lantern. If anyone had been in there... "Gods, no!" A wave of nausea almost made Annabeth's knees buckle. "Reyna, it isn't possible! We'd never do this!" The metal dogs ran to the mistress's side. They snarled at Annabeth, but paced uncertainly, as if reluctant to attack. "You're telling the truth," Reyna judged. "Perhaps you are not aware of this treachery, but someone must pay." Down in the forum, chaos was spreading. Crowds were pushing and shoving. Fistfights were breaking out. "Bloodshed," Reyna said. "We have to stop it." Annabeth had a horrible feeling this might be the last time Reyna and she had ever acted in agreement, but together they ran down the hill. If weapons had been allowed in the city, Annabeth's friends would have probably already been dead. The Roman demigods in the forum had coalesced into an angry mob. Some threw plates, food, and rocks at Argo II, which was pointless, but most of the stuff fell back into the crowd. Several dozen Romans had surrounded Piper and Jason, who were trying to calm them without much luck. Piper's charm speak was useless against so many screaming, angry demigods. Jason's forehead was bleeding. His purple cloak had been ripped to shreds. He kept pleading, "I'm on your side!" But his orange Camp Half-Blood t-shirt didn't help matters, nor did the warship overhead firing flaming spears into New Rome. One landed nearby and blasted the toga shop to rubble. "Pluto's pauldrons!" Reyna cursed. "Look!" Armed legionnaires were hurrying towards the forum. 2 artillery crews had set up catapults just outside the Pronarian line and were preparing to fire at the Argo II. "That'll just make things worse," Annabeth said. "I hate my job," Reyna growled. She rushed off towards the legionnaires, her dogs at her side. "Percy," Annabeth thought, scanning the forum desperately, "where are you?" 2 Romans tried to grab her. She ducked past them, plunging into the crowd. As if the angry Romans, burning couches, and exploding buildings weren't confusing enough, hundreds of purple ghosts drifted through the forum, passing straight through the demigods' bodies and wailing incoherently. The fawns had also taken advantage of the chaos. They swarmed the dining tables, grabbing food, plates, and cups. One trotted by Annabeth with his arms full of tacos and an entire pineapple between his teeth. The statue of Terminius exploded into being right in front of Annabeth. He yelled at her in Latin, no doubt calling her a liar and a rule breaker, but she pushed the statue over and kept running. Finally, she spotted Percy. He and his friends, Hazel and Frank, were standing in the middle of a fountain as Percy repelled the angry Romans with blasts of water. Percy's toga was in tatters, but he looked unhurt. Annabeth called to him as another explosion rocked the forum. This time, the flash of light was directly overhead. One of the Roman catapults had fired, and the Argo II groaned and tilted sideways. Flames bubbled over its bronze-plated hull. Annabeth noticed a figure clinging desperately to the rope ladder, trying to climb down. It was Octavian, his robes streaming, and his face black with soot. Over by the fountain, Percy blasted the Roman mob with more water. Annabeth ran towards him, ducking a Roman fist and a flying plate of sandwiches. "Annabeth!" Percy called. "What? I don't know!" she yelled. "I'll tell you what!" a voice cried from above. Octavian had reached the bottom of the ladder. "The Greeks have fired on us! You boy Leo has trained his weapons on Rome!" Annabeth's chest filled with liquid hydrogen. She felt like she might shatter into a million frozen pieces. "You're lying," she said. "Leo would never—" "I was just there!" Octavian shrieked. "I saw it with my own eyes!" The Argo II returned fire. Legionnaires in the field scattered as one of their catapults was blasted to splinters. "You see?" Octavian screamed. "Romans, kill the invaders!" Annabeth growled in frustration. There was no time for anyone to figure out the truth. The crew from Camp Half-Blood was outnumbered 100 to 1, and even if Octavian had managed to stage some sort of trick, which she thought likely, they'd never be able to convince the Romans before they were overrun and killed. "We have to leave," she told Percy. "Now!" He nodded grimly. "Hazel, Frank, you gotta make a choice. Are you coming?" Hazel looked terrified, but she donned her cavalry helmet. "Of course we are. You'll never make it to the ship unless we buy some time." "How?" Annabeth asked. Hazel whistled. Instantly, a blur of bays shot across the forum. A majestic horse materialized next to the fountain. He reared, whinnying and scattering the mob. Hazel climbed on his back like she'd been born to ride. Strapped to the horse's saddle was a Roman cavalry sword.